Hello, I hope this video finds you doing well. This video has to do with the DAP plans and the progress notes for the weeks going forward. I've had a few questions and I wanted to clarify some things. First off, the video that was included on the DAP plans has a lot of components in it. You aren't expected to use those for the assignment. The video was presented to you so that you have an understanding of what a DAP clinical note will look like when you have a real client. Based on the fact that we're using a Netflix series for developing this DAP note and that's our case study, the information that you have is very limited. So the instructions provided allow you to know what I would like included in that DAP note. The video is for future use, and just so you understand where we're progressing or where we would like to progress to in our competence for developing a DAP note. The next thing is that you have been going through a process. So we started weeks 1 through 8, where I just asked for information, summary of the episode, having you look at trauma-informed practices, pulling out information about how you might develop a SMART goal. All of this was utilizing information that you have to develop a plan, a case note, right? So it was a process. Now that we're moving forward, I actually am going to provide you with an example. I don't give the example in the beginning because then students miss out on the learning experience of how to gather data, how to analyze it, how to turn it into a case note, and the learning experience. This learning experience is important because you'll have different ways at different jobs that will require case notes. For example, at one agency, you may use Simple Practice, which is an online case note development. And it has boxes that you check and case information that is like a template that you would use, and it's electronic. It may ask for some of this information, but not all of it. Then you may work at an agency where there is no template. They say, just provide a case note, and you have to include that in the client's plan, but that's also what they use to go back to work for billing purposes, right, as a document. So the process and the frustrations that you have been experiencing are necessary to get to the competence level of what is needed to know how to develop a DAP note. So for the weeks going forward, what I have provided and what I will provide in this email are the assessment tools, right? Of how do you do a DAP note? First of all, the headers, the only headers you need to include are data, assessment, and plan. All of the subheaders are just for you to know what information to formulate that DAP note. So going forward, you don't need to use all those subheadings. The other thing that I'd like to know is that the instructions will now have examples of what the data part might look like, what the assessment part might look like, what the plan may look like. These are just examples. Use your own information, your own knowledge to try and develop these. Please do not copy word for word the sample or the template. That will just teach you how to copy a case note. It won't teach you how to develop one. Use your own creativity to develop it. Consider things that stood out to you about the episode with Alex, not something that may you think stand out to me, because you're going to need to use your own insight and discernment in working with your client. Also, students, you appear to be really concerned about 3 or 4 points that you may be losing when I'm making the comments of how to change something or what I'm looking for. The process of figuring out what to include, how to gather, how to assess and analyze, again, is part of becoming knowledgeable, right? You learn the knowledge, then you learn the skill, and then you learn how to apply the skill. It's a process. They are few points. It will not change your grade by much. Trust me. Don't get caught up on getting the points where you miss out on the process and how to develop your skill as a clinician. So I am including for the future week, for week 11, the sample, right, of how to write a DAP note. I'm also including a handout on treatment goals, which gives you an example of how to write a SMART treatment goal. And the third thing I'm including is actually a cognitive behavioral therapy guide on intimate partner violence and how to run a group. It's an actual group book, a workbook that you can have for future times and working with clients who experience things such as Alex, and also so that you can begin to get ideas of interventions that you might use each week with Maddie. Many of you have already talked about her attending a support group. Your goals could then be specifically of what you will do in that support group with her as leading that as her clinician, or what you will follow up with the next week. I hope that this video will reassure you about the process going forward. And again, weeks 11 through 14 will have the new directions and the template so that you can actually have an example. I thank you for walking with me patiently through this process, and I am really excited about you building your confidence as a clinician in developing case notes, trauma-informed care case notes, and moving forward in this course as well as in your MSW program. Have a great weekend. Thank you.